Gian, here we are. I know you've waited for this moment since the World Championships and you were told you're in the Premier League. Does it all kind of feel real now?
A little bit, especially now after a couple of hours media. I think that helps to make it real. To be here in Newcastle, to see the trophy here next to me, I think that made it a little bit more real. But even the travel day yesterday coming up here still felt a bit surreal.
You talk about obviously all the media and so on. This is the first real experience of like a massive media day that you've had to do. Are you ready for all things like this? It's not just about what you do on the board now. It's all the stuff off of it.
Yeah, of course I'm ready. I think it helps that my English is good enough to do this kind of stuff. It feels a little bit natural. Of course, it's after a couple of hours, it gets a bit difficult in the second language. But it's good and it's part of the job, and I don't mind it at all.
How is the game and the confidence after the Masters and coming in to this? The Premier League can be gruelling. We've seen it kill careers, but we've seen it also make careers. Whereabouts is your game at the moment?
Yeah, it's in a very good place. Well, of course, the World Masters was a good tournament for myself, getting to the semi-finals again. Of course, the semi-final itself was a bit disappointing, but I think my game's in a good place. I feel very confident. I know it's going to be very tough, the Premier League, because I'm not used probably to losing this many matches as I'm going to in the next couple of weeks, and I think that will really define myself as a person as well, how I come back from that. But I'll be ready, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Disappointed that Luke's broken the curse?
A little bit, yeah. No, he said it after the game as well. That finally, I've broken the curse. I said, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't need to be 5-0. It could also be like 5-2, 5-3. That should be fine. But no, it's fine. It's especially with now we're going to play each other so many times. It was bound to happen. But it was of course disappointing. No worries.
John, I imagine you grew up watching the Premier League. What's it going to be like stepping onto that stage tomorrow? Is it a fulfilment of a dream for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. As you said, growing up I used to watch the Premier League. I think the first year I watched was like 2010. I was about 8 years old. I think it was the first year when I watched it, and back then I already loved it. Every Thursday night in front of the television, and now to step on that stage the first time is going to be a pinching moment.
The two Lukes have dominated the Premier League for the last 2 seasons. Do you feel you could be the man to come in and potentially disrupt that dominance?
Maybe in the O2. Like I don't see myself finishing top of the league. I think because I think they're way too good for that. Especially like someone like Littler. I think once he gets through the quarterfinals, gets to the semi-finals, he's becoming a different guy, and he's very good in the semis and the final. So they'll probably win a couple of nights, and I think it will be difficult to finish on top. But as long as I get in the top 4, get to the O2, then I think I've got a good shot at it.
It's been an amazing 12 months or so for yourself. Do you feel added pressure and expectation when you come into big events like this, especially from the Netherlands?
Yeah, of course there's going to be some extra pressure, but for me, I don't really feel it. I'm just going to do what I've always been doing. I think for myself it helps as well that I don't put too much pressure on myself that I have to perform, because I read social media. Like a lot of players, there's always going to be some players who say they don't deserve to be in or they deserve to be in. All I wanted was not someone to be put extra pressure on myself, because everyone thinks, oh, he doesn't deserve to be in. If you lose in the first couple of weeks, you get a lot of rubbish over you, and that's why I don't want, and I don't think that's going to happen this year, because I earned my spot, and I think that will help me settle in the Premier League as well.
Thanks, Jan.
What were those memories of 2009, 2010 watching the Premier League?
I think especially 2010 when, of course, at the final, Phil Taylor hit the 2 9-darters in. I think that was I think it was about, I was just turned 8 years older now. That's probably, I think I still remember myself screaming on the couch because it was that beautiful of a game. And 2011 was like the first full year I still remember, with Gary winning it, and that's where I grew up as a Gary Anderson idol as well. So I think that will be my first memories of the Premier League.
Those arenas that you're going to be playing in over the next 16 weeks, they're bigger than anything you would have played in before. What experiences are you going to draw upon in those moments?
Yeah, first of all, I'm just going to enjoy all the big arenas, big crowds, hopefully good support for myself as well. That would be amazing. But especially there's some nights, of course, I'm extra looking forward to, as Rotterdam, which is a big crowd. I've been in that crowd many times as a fan, as a darts fan, and now I'm going to be on that stage, so it's something I'm really looking forward to.
You said the World Masters was a good tournament for you, reaching a semi-final. Is that sort of a minimum expectation for yourself now, reaching semi-finals?
Not really a minimum. I think that's my goal for this year, to get as many semi-finals in majors as possible. Hopefully go better than the semi-finals, but I think if I get to the semi-final, I'll call it a successful major. So yeah, I think that's the main goal for the rest of the majors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gian, in this tournament you were playing the elite week in, week out. What do you feel like is the most vulnerable part of your game when you are playing the elite every single week?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure like what my answer is there, but I know, especially if you play the elite week in week out, you're going to lose a lot of games, and I think maybe seen it in the past, players won't play better in the rest of the tournaments because they lose so much in the Premier League. So I think that's something I need to be wary for. But I know as well that I could beat all the players. I've done it before. All the players in this tournament, I've beaten them before, so I know what it's like. Especially in the best of 11, you know, anything can happen. So that's what I'm hoping for.
You mentioned before that you've been doing a lot of media today in English. How important is it for a player who wants to get in the Premier League to have a good grasp of English? Because we've seen a lot of people, a lot of controversy around not missing out, and his English is not the best. I know Jose was in the Premier League, but that was in COVID times. How big of a factor could someone having a good grasp of English be for getting into the Premier League?
I don't think it should be a factor. I think if you're good enough, you're good enough. It doesn't matter if your English is good or not good. I think, you know, it's in the end we're still dart players, and I think if you're a fantastic dart player, you should be in. But on days like this, it does help that your English is good enough to give these kind of interviews, do it for hours, to not tire yourself out in that kind of way. So, but I don't think it should limit someone's spot in the Premier League.
And we've seen in previous years when people are making their debut, thinking Gavin Price, Michael Smith, their first year is really, really tough on us, hard. But we've always said past 18 months, 2 years, that your mindset for someone so young just seems so matured, so great, so years ahead of you. How important is that going to be if it doesn't go your way opening week, 2 weeks, to plough on and really keep that strong mindset moving forward?
Very important, yeah, because as I said before, I'll lose a lot of games, but I'll hopefully win some as well. But it's something you really need to be aware of, that you're going to lose more games than you used to. But also, like in the other tournaments, you know, you still got Player Championship, Euro Tours, the UK Open is coming up. These are very important tournaments as well, and I want to get confidence from this Premier League. I want to perform like I have done in the past 1-2 years on these stages as well, on these big crowds, and then I think I should be doing well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Gian. Your obviously it's your debut Premier League campaign here. How special will it be to walk out into that arena tomorrow? And are you expecting the unexpected?
What do you mean by unexpected? Yeah.
Is it something that you haven't experienced before,
like
so
that.
you
Okay.
don't know what to expect?
Not really. You know, of course, it's going to be a very big venue, a lot of fans, and you know, especially in Newcastle. Hopefully, these colours will help us a little bit as well. But yeah, hopefully, it's going to be great. And as soon as I walk on, I'm just going to enjoy the walk home, maybe even the first leg, and then afterwards, of course, it's game time. Especially against Luke Littler, you can't be enjoying it too much because you need to be on top of your game, and even then, it might not be enough. But I'm just going to enjoy all the big crowds, and we'll see what we can do.
And it is a repeat of the World Final, and you've met in the World Series as well since then with Luke Littler. How determined are you to put, you know, the win on your side this time?
Very determined, of course, you know, because especially like a player against Luke Littler, he's too good to let him run away from you. If you lose like 5-6 times in a row, he'll be 1-2-0 up before the game even starts next time, because he thinks he's so confident that he'll beat you anyway. So I think you need to poke back at him a couple of times. You need to get one back over him, and I think tomorrow is going to be the perfect day to do it. Start of the Premier League. Hopefully, you know, he's in such a good form as he has been for the last couple of years. But well, hopefully I can show it tomorrow as well.
And looking ahead in the calendar, Rotterdam, that's obviously one that you will have looked at when the draw and the schedule came out. How special will it be following in the footsteps of Michael and Raymond?
Very special. You know, the first time it was ever held in Rotterdam, I was there in the crowd with Raymond's walk-on, and even I got goosebumps. So to now do it 10 years, I think around 10 years later, to be there on my own at the walk-on, that would be amazing. And then finally on stage, looking into the crowd, see the Orange Army, I think that would be a very special moment. And you know, as soon as I got the call up for the Premier League, I was like, okay, that date is circled with red in my calendar.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Jack, you mentioned the 2-9 darts from Phil Taylor. You were screaming on your couch, as you said. Was that the moment where you thought, that's what I want to do in the future when I'm older?
No, definitely not. You know, I was enjoying it, but I didn't even think. I didn't even think about that I could be there one day. You know, it's. I was just enjoying that moment. I was enjoying all the darts I was watching back then, Premier League, World Championships, all the other tournaments, and I didn't even think about playing darts on my own. My dad used to play it, but only at home, not even competitions. So as soon as I saw there was a competition going on, and at my football club, I participated, and then once the ball started get rolling, started to play more tournaments, I was like, okay, yeah, this is my dream.
And as you got older, was there a certain point where you realised that not only I want to do this, but I can do this?
I think when I was about 12, 13 years old, I was like one of the better players of my age category in the Netherlands, but I wasn't the top. I wasn't, especially in the youth, like for example, I never played in the youth Dutch team. So I think maybe only when I really I think I won my first challenge tour like 2021, maybe 2022. I think that was the first year I was like, okay, maybe I can do well and get my tour card, and that's what happened like 6 months later. And yeah, I think everything went really fast afterwards.
Gian, you touched on like the media side of it there, and doing all these days, and that the mass media is massively important to grow the sport. Is it disappointing that perhaps no one from the Netherlands has come over, with obviously you and Michael here, to try and grow the sport even more in the Netherlands, because you can see what a massive turnout it is from the UK side of it?
It's a good question. I haven't really, of course, you know, there's English people here, but also VTM from Belgium is here without even a Belgian in. And yeah, maybe, you know, it would be nice if some Dutch media papers or even the Dutch television would be here. But yeah, I haven't really thought about it. But yeah, as you say, so yeah, maybe. I think it would be good for the sport in the Netherlands. Like, of course, it's massive in the Netherlands, especially with what Michael and Raymond have been doing, what I am doing at the moment. But I think it would be